I like to tell people is we're not pretty on the outside. If you just drive by Grand Avenue and don't drive into town and get onto Broadway or into Eagle Ranch, you're really missing what this community is all about.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Colorado High Country Real Estate Podcast, where we talk all things real estate and things that pertain to us here in the mountains. Whether you're a home buyer, a home seller, you're thinking about buying a home, you are a homeowner, you're a tenant, whatever it might be, we talk all things real estate that relate to us here in the High Country. Got a great episode for you today. I've got Kim Fritzler from Slifer Smith and Frampton here in Eagle, and we are going to talk all kinds of things that pertain to the down valley markets of Eagle and Gypsum. But first, let's get this thing kicked off.
Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado.
All right, great. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. Let's go ahead and bring Kim on camera, and let's get this conversation going. So, all right. So, hey, we got Kim Fritzler here. How you doing, Kim?
I'm great. Hi, Dave. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. You and I, we actually go pretty far back, right?
Yes.
I think it was early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
I was becoming a home inspector, and you were working as an assistant for a realtor in Arrowhead.
Correct.
I don't know if we want to mention the name or not.
Yeah, Kathy Iverson in the Arrowhead office is how I kicked off my real estate world, besides being at Slifer corporate office to 2000 to 2004.
Okay, so that's how you started then.
Mhm.
What did you do there at the corporate office?
At the corporate office, I started off at the front desk and assisted the vice president at the time,
Okay.
and got my real estate license. So thought I would test out real estate, and had the opportunity to work with Kathy Iverson 2004 to 2008 when she was the number 5 top broker in the nation.
Yeah.
So
So you really learned a lot.
Yes.
Kind of got your chops down. So now, was your goal always to become a realtor, or did that sort of just spring up over time?
Sprang up over time. Had kids during that period, and thought by going on my own in 2008, I'd have more flexibility to be part of my kids' lives. Little did I know. It looks that way on the outside, but you're available 24/7 in our businesses. But no complaints. I've been blessed for sure.
Yeah, right. That's like me, 24/7 owning 2 businesses. And yeah, sometimes I just have to tell my wife and daughter, hey, leave me alone for a little bit. I got some stuff to do.
Yep.
So you're a resident here in Eagle, right? And so now you're a realtor with Slifer in the Eagle Ranch office.
Correct.
And you've been actually there for quite a while.
Since 2008, I've lived in Eagle since 2000, and pretty early on became involved with the town and what the town has to offer besides just housing.
Yeah. So let's tell everybody who might not know, because we probably have listeners from everywhere. But what is the town of Eagle? How is that in relation to Vail and Eagle County?
Sure.
Just give us a little history or background as to where town of Eagle is.
Right. So Eagle is actually considered the town seat for Eagle County. So you have your 40-mile stretch along I-70. You're approximately 30 miles from the main Vail exit, and then move on down west, and you hit the Avon exit to Beaver Creek. And then you're another 20 minutes from Edwards through the Wolcott Wall. We call it in real estate. It's hard to get some of our buyers to go past Wolcott.
Right.
But when you go 10 miles past Wolcott, you get to exit 147 into the town of Eagle. We sit at 6,600 feet, which puts us at high desert. So that's something that people should recognize. We're high mountain desert.
Yeah, that's very interesting that you mentioned that, especially in Eagle in particular. Sometimes it seems like some of the storms sort of blow through and pass us over a little bit,
Mhm.
maybe until they get to some of the higher peaks.
Yes.
Which is one of the really nice things about being in Eagle.
It's one of my favorite things. We have longer summers for sure.
We do, and fall lasts a little bit longer. Spring
Mhm.
comes a little bit sooner. Eagle is a great place.
And we find, if you're going to the Eagle County Airport, you'll probably get off that exit, drive on Grand Avenue, which I like to tell people is we're not pretty on the outside. If you just drive by Grand Avenue and don't drive into town and get onto Broadway or into Eagle Ranch, you're really missing what this community is all about.
I'm really glad you hit on that, because in my opinion, people coming from Eagle County Airport, like up to Vail, they have to drive through the town of Eagle. And when they drive through on Grand Avenue, it's kind of part of the old part of town. I don't think it looks very pretty. I don't think many people probably think it's very pretty. Um, and I've thought to myself, this whole stretch of Grand Avenue or Highway 6 needs to be redone. And in my mind, I know it's probably will be one day. I have no idea if anything is planned, but do
Sure.
you have any idea?
Yes, we actually have in place. I've been fortunate to be on a committee, the Grand Avenue Corridor Plan.
Okay.
And this committee was established over, gosh, almost 5 years ago now. And where the plan is at now, it's in value engineering stage, meaning they're putting dollars to the cost of
Okay.
widening the road, making it 4 lanes, adding a biker sidewalk
lane, yeah.
along with walking, making it walkable. And so multimodal is the term that's being used. And in order to receive some great federal grants out there, there's a RAISE grant where over 1.5 billion is going to be given out across the country for multimodal infrastructure improvements.
Okay.
Town of Eagle is very active with trying to obtain some funds from that grant. There's the approximate value engineering budget on the project is, I'm going to just throw out big numbers here, but 40 to 50 million. So
wow.
it's
Wow.
a big project. It's going to help the community significantly, look pretty on the outside,
Ye-
not just on the inside, but it's going to take some time.
Okay. So where are we at in the planning stage, or let me rephrase it, how far off realistically until they break ground?
Sure. The design implementation, we're probably I believe we're about 70% into the total plan being finalized.
Okay.
And when that final plan is completed, then we could apply for the grants, which would probably happen in this next year. Goal being to break ground in 3 years from now. So 27, 28 would
Okay.
be the goal. And the stretch would be from the Sylvan Lake roundabout to the EB Creek roundabout.
Right. So any idea what would happen to the existing businesses that are there?
Yes, it's going to be a benefit to businesses because it's going to draw people into our town. They may lose some parking, so there's been some creative conversations about where people would park, utilizing side roads more. Our idea is that it would be a good attractor to future, retail retention or recruitment. Let's recruit some other retailers to come into the area, and potentially the people living on that street now may want to sell and benefit from high sales prices right now and put
Okay.
some nice retail along that road.
So in other words, the businesses that are there now, and I kind of refer to some of the older buildings that look a little run down. Part of the plan isn't going to force them to sell and tear those buildings down and rebuild. That's going to be sort of an option.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. Our old town mentality is, let's take care of who is here.
Okay.
And this could provide them an opportunity to be more attractive by
Right.
an attractive road and attractive sidewalk and more walkability that we'll see where time takes us. But first step is town investing in their roads, making things easier to get in and out to the airport, out to Vail, people commuting to work. How do we make our citizens' lives, quality of life better?
Gotcha. So, I just had an interesting thought. I know the airport is trying to expand. They're also talking about building a new exit off of I-70 halfway between Eagle and Gypsum. So if that were to happen, that almost kind of negates that front door feel that we're talking about on 6th Avenue in Eagle. Am I right? Or am I missing something?
So how do we draw people into our community? Think of the great restaurants we have right now in Eagle Ranch. I just love what's happening in our little town right now. As a community in Eagle, we can't 100% depend on our people that live here full time. We need to draw people in, and what's going to draw them in. For example, tickets are going to be going on sale November 26th for ice castles.
Right. That's going to be cool. Have that in Eagle this year.
Super exciting. So we need to be doing more stuff like that. And ice castles is going to be a really good test for us as a community. How do we draw people in instead of them just accidentally finding us?
Right. Okay. And so, let's kind of back up for a second. You mentioned you do a lot of work with the town of Eagle as well. And that's probably how you maybe know some of this inside stuff, but tell us a little bit about what you do with town of Eagle.
Sure. I volunteer currently on 3 different town committees. The first one that sucked me in was the Marketing and Events Committee, where we have the task annually to figure out where to spend our lodging tax dollars. We had a $100,000 budget this year that goes to sponsoring certain events throughout town to encourage such things as Showdown Town every Thursday night. A good portion of the budget goes to that. So things that enhance the quality of life for our people that live here, and then also that will draw people in, such as farmers market or big festival events.
Right.
The other one I'm a part of is Economic Vitality Committee, where how do we advance the economic vitality of what's happening in Eagle, and that has everything to do with looking at new developments that are happening, new businesses wanting to come to town. How do we handle, our tap fees and make it easier for people to start a business here?
Right.
And then the last one is the Grand Avenue Corridor Committee, which we've already touched on.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, Kim, on Chambers Avenue, with kind of a business district in Eagle. A few years back, there was talk of, I think, a big retailer like a Target or someone coming there. That didn't happen. Costco, when they came here, they went down by the airport into Gypsum. What is the town of Eagle doing to try to bring more retailers to this town?
Sure. On this one, I know just enough to be dangerous.
Okay.
And so that area is now called it is called East Eagle. There's been some land use code changes allowing for more freedom of that with that current owner. It's back in the hands of Merv Lappin and his Red Mountain Development Company.
Okay.
There has been plans for residential along the river there too.
So hang on one second, Kim. So let's go ahead and bring this map. So this is a map of the town of Eagle. Maybe you could tell us which colors we're talking about. You were just talking about
Sure.
something.
Where are we?
So this is main town right here. This is Grand Avenue, right? Here's your Sylvan Lake roundabout, right? Are you following this map?
Yep.
Okay.
Correct. So past the red,
like here. Okay. So this is let's make it bigger here. This is Chambers right here. This white street. So this red here is kind of the Eagle Chambers Business District.
Correct.
Right.
And then so directly across Highway 6, you have on that orange section there is future development for the current plan with those owners is to do townhomes and single family homes on the river. And then if we go back on the other side of Highway 6 past Chambers and you're up here in the purple area.
Okay.
That's where the conversations in town currently are, light industrial and who can be an anchor business. It was in the town council packet back on October 22nd that the town is in conversations with Kroger about expanding and doing a city market down there. And then Kroger could be an anchor. So they've been meeting with the landowner, town, and those executives. And they have a pretty good track record of bringing in some other good name brands to follow up. The interesting thing about East Eagle, it's already approved going back to the previous owner for I-70 interchange.
Okay.
So there's really great potential for our community to not just have great shops, but to also, and big things that will draw in great tax dollars for our community, but to also have some affordable housing and workforce housing in that area. This is all conceptual right now. Nothing is in writing. The town has agreed to build a water tank out there to be able to support the potential.
Okay.
So they are looking forward to what's going to happen in 20 years. And the most important thing is, we need to provide water to these future sticks and bricks that are going to be there.
So We're probably looking at maybe a double in population over the next 10 to 15 years, maybe, with a lot of the building that's going on.
So there are, so, okay, I could jump all around, but the biggest approval that is in place right now is Haymeadow with over 880 units, and that's south of
Let's go
town.
back to our map. So
Mhm.
that's kind of in this area. Let's see. You've got your
You're up on Kaibab right now.
oh
So,
yeah, we're down here.
mhm.
Sorry. So here's the ice rink and pool right over here. And so now you're talking about this here. Oh no, this is that development that's
That's
already there.
Soleil.
Right.
Mhm.
Soleil. Yep. And you're kind of talking about out in this area, most likely about.
Correct.
Okay.
So Haymeadow has approvals of over 880 units. They just revised their PUD in the past month to continue with that same density, but a really unique and special dedication they gave a couple weeks ago was to Mountaintops, which now has dedicated land to do early childhood learning.
Oh, great.
Currently, what's been built there are 70-ish condos, which are the county bought over 40. The town of Eagle participated in the purchase of over 20. And then the remaining were held by the developer, I think 15 units,
Okay.
which are required to be resident occupied. Again, a lot of different deed restrictions in this one little community, but much needed housing for people, workforce housing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Eagle really is kind of one of the main local housing towns for people working and serving the ski resorts.
It has been. We are standing on our own now as a community, but we have the land along with gypsum, so
Right.
we could help solve some of our county's issues with not having enough housing for those much needed employees.
Okay. And so, with all this growth we're talking about that Eagle is going to have, I'm sure there's some plans in place to help increase infrastructure. You said, well, building another water tower. Um, we talked about Highway 6 going to have to be widened. Are there other plans in place, just infrastructure wise, that you know about?
So that's something that came back earlier this year. There was a quality of life survey that was completed, testing out to see if there was the ability to ask for bond or tax increase to help with the Grand Avenue corridor expansion. What really came back with that was we need to first fix some of our existing structures.
Okay.
So or infrastructure. So there recently was an open house about plans to improve capital. What's happening underneath that road
Right.
needs to be fixed. So what do we do with capital in the meantime? Do we add some sidewalks? Do we add more parking? That's a question. What is going to happen for sure is they are improving the wooden park, as our kids would call it,
Right.
down
The
in Brush Creek.
Brush Creek
That
Pavilion.
was built over 20 years ago, and kids were getting splinters. So when you do stuff like that, a lot of money went into the pool, and that will be
Redoing all that.
redoing all the pool, and that will be opening up again this summer. Much needed amenity for
Yeah.
our community. So our community gives a lot to open space and maintaining our trails and our single track, so we could continue with our outdoor lifestyle that
Yeah.
we all moved here for.
Right.
But there's those certain things in place, like our paid pass, that need to be maintained first. So yes, there is that big picture out there. Immediately, we're going to see as a community those improvements.
Great. Okay. Well, so you're a realtor here with Slifer. Let's get into some actual real estate stuff. I pulled up some facts here. Let me just pull these up and read them off to you a little bit. So as of November 2024, which we're in right now, let's see, the median home prices in Eagle were 1.1 million in August, making it a 36.2% increase over the previous year. And then we also have our homes being on the market for an average of 24 days, which is pretty fast. Median sales price per square foot around 528, which is 19.5% over last year. Can you speak to some of these trends, or just kind of the current state of real estate in the do we want to just call it Eagle, or do you
Let's-
call it Eagle Gypsum Market? Or,
Sure. Let's just focus on Eagle.
okay,
Because
Eagle.
yeah, just so I know enough to be dangerous. Eagle, I know more than people might find interesting. So, in comparison, right now, Eagle County, as of October 31st, we were at 4.5 months worth of inventory for all
Okay.
of Eagle County.
Okay.
When we just narrow in on Eagle itself, we are at right around 2 months of inventory. So in the real estate world, we consider 4 to 6 months of inventory to be healthy, meaning that's where we're more
4 to
towards
6
balancing
months,
out
okay.
from a seller's market to a buyer's market. So
Okay.
we're getting close to that in Eagle County, but we've also been hovering around that number for over 12 months.
Right.
In Eagle, we've continued to have this lower inventory. When something comes on the market, is show ready, is ready to move into, we have reasonable sellers willing to do the items that come up on an inspection. The real days on market is still under 2 weeks.
Wow.
So that's where what we've seen, I believe in Eagle, we've had just a little bit over 100 closings this year, and leading us to an average price right now of 1.5
1.5
million.
Okay. So what is this? This is happening everywhere. It's nothing specific to Eagle, but what are you seeing in terms of your typical Eagle buyer? I know we have some first-time home buyers. We have some younger people. There's also some older people, some parents that move here because their kids live here and their grandkids live here. But what are you kind of seeing with this price increase and average median prices going up? What's that doing to, I don't know, the buyer demographic?
Sure. Here, let me just talk about our demographics right now. Let's see. We have our median age in Eagle currently is 32 with an average age of 37, which I think we see that when,
I would say, but you know what? There was actually just an article in the Vale Daily just this morning about the age of Eagle. Was it Eagle County or just Eagle? I think it might have been just Eagle. What the average age of the population is rising.
And that's what we're seeing in our higher priced homes. So Eagle itself, during COVID, we all learned how to work out of the home.
Right.
So that's really attractive to this median age group of 37 moving here to live the lifestyle. Our largest population in Eagle is the 10 to 14-year-olds.
Okay.
So
I got a kid right in that age group.
That talks to what we've seen in Eagle as long as you and I have been here for over 20 years, that you move down to Eagle because of the lifestyle it presents for a family.
Right.
But with that, we also have so many great amenities to provide that demographic that has retired, soon to retire, or is following their adult children here, which they really are following their grandkids here.
Right.
They like us, but they don't like us.
Yeah, they want to
much.
see the grandkids.
It's about the
not
grandkids.
us.
So what we've seen this year is at the beginning of the summer, we had the highest sale in Eagle Ranch at 3.8 million, up in the Highlands, where you're sitting on an acre and you're 6,000 square feet. You're at just below 700 a square foot compared to, when you're buying up Vale market, you're 2,000.
Right. No,
you're at least double price per square foot.
You get way more bang for your buck here.
Way more. And we were talking about the location. You're driving to the mountains. You're only 30 minutes away from skiing, right?
Right.
There last week, speaking to that higher price point again, and our demographics changing, another property just went under contract for over that 3.8 million.
Okay.
So we're starting to drive up our price points.
Okay.
We do and are fortunate to have that. Our entry level right now is a 2-bedroom at just below, right around 800,000.
Yeah. So how do you break that to a client? Maybe they're first-time home buyers, trying to get their foot into the real estate market, but we're talking about, over $750,000 for a 2-bedroom,
Sure.
Which I know is expensive, but again, everywhere is expensive. But as a realtor, how do you kind of handle that?
Sure. There's a lot of opportunities for first-time home buyers. Eagle County and town of Eagle itself are on the leading edge of deed restricted housing. So with deed restrictive housing on big just overview is you work and live in Eagle County at least 32 hours a week with most deed restrictions. And then you put a deed restriction property on your property, approximately 3% appreciation per year.
Okay.
It's all based upon AMI and calculations that we're fortunate to have the Valley Home Store and the area help us determine. If you're willing to put that deed restriction on your property, you could bring the costs down by 15% because they're going to help you with either a buy down program or bring down basically up to 15%. They'll help you buy down
Wow.
your
Okay.
property. Another means that we see happen here in the Valley is we are a generation, or there are people younger than us that may be getting family money down the road anyways. So there's the opportunity to have that family discussion of fast forwarding some of those payments or doing a promissory note with a family member that you'll pay them back
Gotcha.
when you go to sell if you don't have the down payment available to you.
Okay. Okay. So you mentioned, let's take a look at the computer again. You mentioned some of these Eagle County programs. This is one of them, right? The Valley Home Store. And just quickly tell us about how this program works.
Sure. There's actually several different arms to this. You have the Good Deeds program, which is basically what I just explained.
Okay.
Eagle Ranch Housing Corp. In Eagle Ranch, you have a 1% transfer fee. 80% goes to the open space and maintaining the open space surrounding Eagle Ranch and the trail system. 20% goes to the Housing Corp, where you could reach out to myself as a specialist or your realtor that you really love working with, and you find a house, say for $1 million, but you don't have all that down payment. Eagle Ranch Housing Corp will help you and just bring the costs down if you become a part of their deed restriction by 15%.
Okay.
Mikasa Avon has their own program. Town of Vale runs their own program as well. So, which is called the Vale Indeed. So it's really important when you're talking to a lender or your realtor, if this is something that you're going to need help with, that your realtor is versed in this language. There's so many different avenues.
Yeah, there's lots of different things. So having a realtor on your side is huge.
Mhm.
Let's go back to the computer for a second. So we have this Valley Home Store, and then we also have this Eagle County Local Employee Residence Program, or LERP. Can you explain a little bit about what this program is?
Yeah, so this is what's happening out at Haymeadow right now, where applicants are working with the realtor out there at Haymeadow, Coldwell Banker, and his and Scott Schlosser's team have their list of people they're going through and qualifying people for the LERP housing in Haymeadow. It is a ranking system by how many years you've lived in Eagle County, how many people will be in the unit. So again, it's very detail oriented, but the first thing you have to do is get in touch with a realtor. Then they could help you get on that list or find you another program if that list is so long and there's not going to be enough housing units. So this program to the town of Eagle is fairly new, that at least for town of Eagle having very specific guidelines with it.
Okay. So basically it's a program though to help people get into housing
and to keep the pricing down for future generations, but to keep a balanced inventory for people that we know are going to need to be working here for years to come.
Yeah, it's always a crazy balancing act.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, people who are looking to invest in properties like Airbnbs and things like that are mostly buying up closer to Vail, Beaver Creek, and the ski areas, right? Which makes sense. But what is the town of Eagle? What are you seeing in terms of people buying investment properties? Or is it mostly people looking for primary residences?
Sure. Right now, what we're seeing with investment properties, the cost of rentals are quite high everywhere. The return on investment for someone's just straight investing right now, quite honestly, isn't there for town of Eagle. There needs to be some personal use, whether that be in the commercial area or residential area. So we are finding, though, going back to families that could do this is, mom and dad buy the house and then the kids fix it up. They put a renter in a bedroom or a ADU, accessory dwelling unit,
Right.
to help offset that cost and treat it as income. So there's creative ways to invest
Okay.
in the town right now, but just to buy a straight investment,
It's hard.
we're not in that.
It's not really the
We're not in
market
that
for
market
that.
right now.
Yeah. Okay. So you just mentioned something interesting too. You mentioned an ADU or an alternative dwelling unit, kind of
Mhm.
like an apartment over a garage or something like that. Um, do if I recall correctly, there was something not too long ago. Is the town of Eagle is looking to incentivize people to build ADUs?
It's
Is that right?
actually Eagle County. That's part of the Eagle County Good Deeds program, where you are incentivized $100,000 to build an accessory dwelling unit. And I don't know the exact particulars, but it's a loan that you're taking
Okay.
through a program with the county. And the requirement is for the first few years that you rent that out to a local. And the number of years, I'd have to look at paper. But it's a great program for, to build that accessory unit. You could convert a garage, you could build over a garage, you could convert your basement. And in the town of Eagle, they extended the total square footage to 850 square feet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So another opportunity for, if you're going to be in a house for a long time, why not create an opportunity for passive income?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Have you seen people taking advantage of this?
I have, and it's very straightforward and pretty
What have
easy
you
to do.
seen? What have people done?
So we see that there's a community, a neighborhood in Eagle called that we refer to as Village Homes. It surrounds the school. Most of those, some of those garages are two car garages, so you could build approximately 700 square feet. With the 3-car garages, you could get to the 850 square feet. Pop the top, come in and do the contracting. With our cost of construction right now, the people I've seen do this, they are in the construction industry, so they could keep down the costs.
Okay. That was kind of what I was going to ask is, do you have any idea what adding onto your garage generally costs at the moment?
I'm scared. I don't want to throw out numbers like that. I don't want to throw out numbers like that.
We'll leave that.
Okay.
If anybody's really interested, contact Kim.
Yes. I'll connect you with someone that can help with those numbers.
We'll leave those numbers under wraps a little bit just so we don't scare anybody,
Yes.
right? Okay. So what advice do you have for first-time home buyers? Maybe people that have moved to Vail, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, they've been renting, they've been living up Valley, and now, like the rest of us, maybe want to settle in a little bit, move down Valley, plant a little bit more roots. What do you say to those people who might be struggling right now to actually make that work?
Sure. Education is power. I know that's so basic, but don't be scared to walk into open houses, even if it's a home right out of your price point. You could fall into a conversation with a realtor about what you're really looking for, that you're just seeing, okay, if I could really afford 750,000, but I'm going into a $2 million house, it helps you understand the difference in the same neighborhood, how a property could be 2 million and then 750. So that's where I do recommend that. And then part of that same timing process is, don't be scared to find out what you do qualify for.
Right.
Or in talking to a lender, you find out you don't qualify for much. That lender is going to tell you what you need to do to get to that qualification that you want, and how much money you should be putting away from your paychecks. I see a lot of people depending, just going on their computers and educating themselves that way. And
Right.
I don't depend on the Zestimates. Reach out to your friends. As realtors, we are so happy when we get a phone call, whether you're just kicking tires or not, and you're not buying for 5 years from now or never. We don't care. It gives us the opportunity to do the exercise to look at, okay, what can this person afford today? And then that gives us a basis for down the road when we work with you down the road.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that if you're someone who's in the market and you're not maybe quite where you need to be, jump in, talk to people, talk to a realtor, talk to a mortgage person, and at least find out where you're at.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's great advice, because you might think I don't qualify for much or I'll never get whatever. And then you have the conversations, and then someone like you might have, hey, there's actually a program that you fit perfectly into.
Mm-hmm.
Or I have a property, it's not even listed, that I know about. I think you'd be perfect for it. I mean, whatever it might be, just get the conversation going.
Exactly. It's a fun conversation to have. When I go out and about, the first question I typically get is, how's the market? Because it's something that really does affect our daily lives, our lifestyle decisions that we're making. So let's talk about it. Don't be afraid to ask that question.
Yeah. Okay. So another question. So we talked about first-time home buyers because we're talking about Eagle and we're down valley from the ski resorts. What are you seeing here in Eagle, down valley, from with that sort of high-end client? Maybe somebody, are we seeing people that maybe would have bought in Vail or Beaver Creek, but they're actually looking down this way for one reason or another, but
Sure.
yet they're kind of in that upper end
Right.
market?
Right. So to go back out to, you're driving down I-70, you pass by Eagle because you're on the way to the airport. If you were just to turn left, if you go a mile into town, you're in Eagle Ranch, where you could have 6,000 square feet on an acre for the very high end at 3.8. But if you keep continuing past Eagle Ranch, you could get to Frost Creek,
Oh, right.
which is another 5 miles down the road. And then past that, another 5 miles is Sylvan Lake State Park. So in that Frost Creek private golf course community, there was recently a $5 million sale. They also have beautiful entry level, quote, entry level homes
Okay.
called Hunter's View,
Right.
for right around the $2 million park. But you have price point, but you have the amenities of a private golf club surrounded by public lands, BLM land that will never be built on. You're an island in the middle of the sea.
Yeah.
It's a pretty special place. So these people that we're seeing moving further west either want a longer summer, or they've been in Cordillera, Beaver Creek. They don't want to take on have a year of remodeling a property, and they're okay with a little bit of drive to get them to the amenities that are still so close by and our
Right.
beautiful resort communities.
So if I'm in that high-end market, let's say 4 million and above, um, most people I would think who are going to buy that in this area want sort of ski in, ski out. But it sounds like maybe I'm hearing that some people maybe are trading in ski in, ski out for maybe more land, not as many neighbors, warmer weather. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Right. Well, you mentioned that Bell Daily article, and it did say, our demographics, we do have an aging demographic here, and we need more, services for them. But part of that, I don't know about you, but as I get older, I want more warm weather
Right,
days.
right,
I
right.
love getting on the mountain, but I would much rather be outside hiking and enjoying the trail systems when they're dry.
Yeah,
So that's more where Town of Eagle is now standing on its own, where we're not a bedroom community anymore, where we stand alone because of the incredible trail system that has been created here. So move here. It used to be move here for winter, stay for the summer.
right.
In Eagle, we see people moving here for the summer.
Right, right. I mean, it's gorgeous here. You mentioned the trails. I do just want to throw out Town of Eagle is huge into mountain biking. I think it's some world class stuff here. We have some amazing trails, and I think we have some events. Some I don't know what they are, world
We
class
have
events or
we've hosted the state mountain bike championships for over 10 years now.
right, right, right.
Mhm.
That's what it is. Yeah. So yeah, Eagle's really an outdoorsy place. A lot of activity, biking and hiking and snowshoeing and all kinds of stuff. Okay, we were just talking about what we were just talking off camera actually about what you do kind of specifically and what you're into right now as a realtor. I know with the Soleil, so how do you say that?
Soleil Homes.
Soleil Homes, which are over by the pool and ice rink. You and your team were the main brokers on that one, right?
Correct.
Okay, so and those homes are all sold out now, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so what projects do you have your
What
heels
are we
sunk
doing
into
now?
now?
Yeah, and prior to that, we were with Brush Creek Townhomes, also right in that same area. So now, with there being very limited land for multifamily currently available within town of Eagle, we've been fortunate to be working with the same developer, Winton Homes, John Purchase, on
Okay.
building. We are now under contract on his fifth spec home in Eagle Ranch, and have broke ground on the sixth, and just and will soon be doing plans on the 7th. So this is my passion, is working with a spec builder, super fun in identifying a custom home lot, recognizing the need of the community. We've gone from building homes with approximately 4,000 square feet, which includes ADU and the rental potential, to now our most recent homes do not have that ADU because we've seen a switch in the demographics and what people are wanting,
Oh, wow.
and wanting that 4,000 square feet to be just for them and their adult family coming to visit,
Right.
and the grandkids, and having some yard space, even though with low maintenance.
So, okay. So where are we seeing the spec home building in Eagle right now?
Sure. So Eagle Ranch, that's really that is where the only available lots currently lie.
Okay. So you're working with a builder who's building spec homes, and then you're the one listing them for sale. Are you also getting involved with them in terms of finishes and decor and stuff like that, or is that totally up to them?
Beginning to end.
You
So
are,
yeah,
okay.
it's picking out the land, working with his architect on what we see the need in the market is, and then working with his designer and picking out the finishes. From what I mean, we get out and about quite a bit up and down the valley. So what's trending up in Vail trickles down, right?
Right.
And so let's see what's happening up there and bringing that same high end look to Eagle Ranch.
So it's interesting you mentioned that, because I did a podcast with an interior designer a few weeks back, and we were talking about the shift of the mountain feel, going from that sort of old mountain feel of a lot of wood, logs, antlers, and kind of big chandeliers and that sort of thing, to what we would call more of a mountain modern, which is iron railings, um, open floor plans, a lot of lighting. Is that what builders are focusing on here in Eagle?
Yes, 100%. Leah Mayer is our architect, and she's really incorporated quite a lot of windows, natural light, and then the great room feel. And then Kelsey Cole with texture design, she helps us incorporate what are the color tones, what are the tiles, what's, the little details that really matter.
Okay.
That's going to, as a spec home, you need to appeal to the masses.
Right.
Versus when we go into the custom homes, that's where the designer as a designer, you're looking at, oh, they like the green, they like the blue, where we now have trended away from gray and are more beigey, brown, warm tones throughout.
Yeah, right.
I guess the other thing to talk about too, and you probably see this where you're doing your work, down in Eagle, air conditioning is very important.
Yes.
HVAC systems. So on spec homes, we are doing whole house HVAC systems. We're not doing in-floor radiant heat.
Right.
That's more important as far as like solar, solar aspects. It's now required. We're on Eagle 2021 town code. So we have to build with it being solar panel ready. We have to build with EV charger in the garage, and then also radon detection system.
Right.
So, it's what I get to do in working with people looking at Town of Eagle is I usually talk about the community first. We are approximately, my guess is over 90% primary residents. And because of that, our amenities and our events that the town plans revolve around what do our residents want first, and then what's going to make them call their friends and come join them, and bring people from down valley and from Glenwood over this direction. So we have the Eagle River Park that's there year round, super fun during the summer.
Yeah.
In the summer also we have Town Park, where we go to Showdown Town every Thursday night.
Concerts in
the park. And in the winter, that Town Park is converted to skating rink, which is put together by all volunteer hockey dads, which is really cool that they put that together and maintain it. So we have that going on this winter. We still have 2 parades on our main street, and we're one of the only towns in the county with a Broadway. So you have your Fight Days parade in the summer, and then on December 7th this year, it's Christmas on Broadway.
Yeah. No, it's really a great town, and I'm sure, it's been good for me, for my family, for my business. I know it's been good for you as well. Let's go over to our computer again. This is your team here, correct?
Yes.
Kelly and TJ are on your team in the Slifer office in Eagle Ranch. How can people find you? What's this website here? Team K2?
Yeah, or just search K2T Collective, or Team K2 was our former name before TJ decided to go full time with us and be a full time broker with us versus an assistant. So we do specialize in the down valley market, but do quite a bit of business up valley too as people transition from Vale down valley and then vice versa. So we look forward to helping you with wherever you're wanting to buy, sell, just shoot the crap.
Yes. We can say it here, shoot the shit.
We could say shoot the shit. No, we'd love to grab coffee, grab a drink, and help you just learn more about this community that we love.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if anyone's looking for a realtor, looking for property in the Eagle area or Eagle County in general, Kim's a great resource to talk to. But I really learned a lot today, Kim. You have some good insight to the town with the communities you're on and whatnot. So appreciate you coming and sharing that info today.
Thanks so much for the opportunity. This is fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Appreciate you,
like I
Dave.
said, anybody who wants to find a realtor, give Kim a call. All right. Thanks, guys.
Rocky Mountain.